We got a bomb dropped on us about 2 weeks ago, which we did not appreciate. My name is Terry Holden. This is my husband, Scott. We and our 3 daughters have lived in Lithia for the last 18 years. We love our area, and we have certainly seen it grow. So when you guys were using words such as urban and rural, those words do not describe Lithia. So had you taken the time to come into Lithia and see the area and talk to the residents, I think you would have gotten that picture very quickly. Lithia is one of the fastest growing areas in the Tampa Bay area. It's grown at about 200% in the last 10 to 15 years. Fish Hawk Ranch itself has grown at about 700%. And the Tampa Bay area in that same time frame grew at about 22%. We are not rural and we are not remote. We do not want a body farm in Lithia. It is not compatible with our beautiful area. The proposed facility would do nothing to help us reach our goals. You have goals, we have goals, of keeping our community the highly desirable, beautiful, family-oriented community that it is. The site that you keep describing as rural and remote is basically in our backyards. I feel for the families who live on 39 and on the south portion of Lithia Pinecrest, because you all are the closest to that site. Right near one of those as well. It also happens to be next to the huge CW Bill Young Reservoir used to store the area's water. We believe that the placement of this body farm in Lithia would both damage our area's desirability and decrease our property values. Most people have their largest investments in their home and property, and as homeowners, it is imperative for us to do everything possible to protect the value of those investments and the value of our community. Have you even considered other locations? How about somewhere in North County, which would make more sense based on USF's location? How about on USF's property?
Transparent in the dealings with business or community, you're hiding the facts and misleading, which will result in failure. In our opinion, your handling of this project was all wrong, and you should have engaged the Lithia community a year ago when you started the discussions with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and County Attorney. You would have learned that we do not support this type of facility in Lithia. I also want to mention the purpose of a letter dated April 10th from our County Commissioner, Stacy White, Dr. Kimberly, which was to, quote, express my extreme displeasure, end quote, in finding out about this project from the residents of Lithia. So if in fact this project is as crucial and vital as you're stating, then move the project onto USF property where the researchers, grad students, and law enforcement agencies can utilize it.
How you doing? My name is William Rayburn. I live on Gray Road all the way to the very back end of it. The very last house, which butts up against the fence that they're going to put this body farm in. So it directly relates to my property. My property is here, there it starts there. So they say that there's no worry with coyotes. They run rampant through that area. They say there's no worry about bobcats. They run rampant through that area. They say there's no worry about this. I don't understand how they're already there and they're not going to take advantage of what's equipment there. So I'm just concerned about what it's going to do to my favorite 5 acres of land that I spent my whole life building. My wife and I decided to retire on. What is it going to do when the heat goes up that we deserve to have? And your bodies begin to reek and blow towards our area. And you say it's not distinct, but it's not, that place ain't that big. I can smell the dump several miles away if the wind blows just right. Now, we accepted that when we bought our land. We didn't accept this when we bought our land. And nobody bothered to ask us whether we could go there. So I'm not here to give nobody a hard time. I'm just asking you, just take a good look at what you're doing to the people that spent their life building lives there.
We've had comments. This is going to go somewhere. And there's some things that have not been answered. Has anyone talked to the legislature? Because I think there's some laws that are going to need to be created. How long will a body be held, it's, let's say, a morgue, before it's released, possibly to the body farm? Will veterans be sent there? Or will we make sure that we ID? The reason I'm asking these questions is we had this problem in Tennessee. The laws were changed. So I think we need to look at a few things that we haven't looked at this point, because no one's made the point that the legislature is going to have to make laws. And they're going to have to, or there will be no oversight. And I believe we're going to need oversight no matter where it goes.
To fulfill the American dream of owning a home in the country without interruption of a peaceful and tranquil lifestyle. It has been everything but. First, Sheriff Walter Heinrich sought to put a prison farm at this training grounds. Then Hillsborough County approved monitoring wells for water being pumped in areas other than Lithia, causing numerous shallow wells to dry up, mine included. Then they approved not one but 2 landfills, one for household debris and one for construction debris, both on Long Road. Then they approved the police training site, where sometimes bombs are detonated without warning, and the constant sound of sirens and gunfire are heard. Then they wanted to put a major prison on property that adjoins Wendell. This was prevented due to a grassroots campaign opposing it and went all the way to the governor's office to stop it. They later approved the fish hawk development, forcing wildlife to uproot and move again. Then came the reservoirs at the end of Wendell Avenue, with sirens or alarms that you can barely hear unless you're outside your house. This caused the flood insurance to go up. They could run pipelines to pump water all the way to Tampa and areas east of here and west of here, but they couldn't run pipelines down the adjoining neighborhood roads for fire hydrants. The mosquito population has grown so bad, the mosquitoes carry their own silverware. And now they want to dump cadavers out here. I'd say it's time to put our foot down and say no more. What happened to Hillsborough County's good neighbor policy? They decrease our lifestyle, depreciate our property values, increase our taxes, and give us nothing in return. This project for forensic science, they should put on the USF campus. Okay, now I'm highly opposed because I live right across the street from it. And we've had every possible thing that Hillsborough County does not want to put anywhere else, so they dump it out in Southeast.
I have been to Knoxville. I stood outside the fence. I did not smell anything. I did not see anything. Excuse me. I am in support of this. If this does not work out here, you're welcome to come and put it on my 4 acres and build it. On being a donation, and I understand the donations have to be made. They will not come from the medical examiner's office or other places. They will not be buried there. Once they are skeletonized, the bones will be picked up. They will be returned to the university for the anthropology department. I believe in this type of thing because it's what we need so we can solve some of these crimes that happen. What you see on TV does not happen overnight. It happens because of research. It happens because of people like Dr. Bill Bass, this gentleman, this lady, wherever she disappeared to, I'm sorry. There you are. All right. I think it's a wonderful thing. I don't believe it will harm the neighborhood. I would be happy to move in next door.
Take our landfill too, Bill.
I'm sorry.
99. I want to be one of the first to sign up to donate my body. I was very proud. I was very proud to read the press releases and to understand what Body Farm is for and what it's going to do. And I have faith in USF and the gentlemen and ladies here who have done this significant research. And I, like I said, I would be proud to be one of the first to donate my body.
Discuss anything about our beautiful water system or anything else that goes around here. We have a reservoir that feeds a number of different people. We have all of our Lithia springs, and we have wells. I've been living off a well. I came to Lithia in 1988. My sons are graduates of here, and graduates of Newsom, and graduates of USF. So we all are part of this community, and we have not looked at transparency of this. I called the executive director of the EPA. He hasn't bothered to call me back. I've tried twice. There's no oversight to this. My neighbor in Litha, I have a business in Litha, is a funeral home director. He is tested twice annually in his probation center. We had nothing here talking about testing or quality control. We have a huge hog problem. I don't know about you guys, but I had 30 hogs attack my pastures and tore up my pastures. We're a 7-foot fence is not going to hold that back. We're not going to hold back the buzzards. And as I said, that reservoir is sitting right there. So yes, the cadaver is natural, it can be composes, but what's it going to do to us in future years? Thank you very much.
In 25 years, we have watched this reservoir, the prison. They made the reservoir a reality, much like a meeting like this that we're attending tonight. It was a last-minute announcement. We found out like this through the news. We were not informed by letter, by any other communication other than through the news. By the time we found out about the reservoir, we were told, and I can quote this, from the commissioner standing there saying, you can come up, you can speak, but it is a done deal. The reservoir went in a 15 billion gallon reservoir that I can see from the end of my driveway. I have listened to trucks. I have listened all night to trucks. I have complained to Swift Mud, and I was told that the only time that they could run these trucks and pour this special concrete was at night. They ran these trucks all night long. We had years with living in the city. We moved out there as a quiet area. It depressed our home value. We've had people on our street. I have not tried to sell my house. I may be looking into that soon. It's hurt our area. The mitigation area we are in, the Lithia pumping station, we've had 2 wells replaced through the mitigation. Whenever they increase the pumping at the Lithia pumping station, it collapses our wells. We've gotten very little assistance with that. They keep sticking more things out of Lithia. We seem to be the dumping ground for 3 counties for things that they do not want anywhere else. We've got the South County landfill. When we developed a sinkhole out on that property, we had to worry about contamination in our well. The stress and the worry about testing our well, making sure that our water was still good, at looking at a 15 billion gallon reservoir that Lithia never got any benefit from. We do not need or want this cadaver farm so close to our house. If you think that this is the right choice for your neighborhood, your area, please take it to your house. We don't want it out. There are alligators, there are coyotes. There are times when I can walk out in my yard and I can find body parts of animals that have been carried through that are dropped along the way. You cannot keep a coyote out in the area that wants to be there. You are begging them to come out to here now.
Patrick, and my family has resided in southeast Hillsborough County for 6 generations. And I have a few questions. Why place this project a half a mile from homes when there are many places in Florida where this project could be placed 20+ miles from the middle? I'd also like to ask Dean Eisenberg and Dr. Kimberly if they live in Lithia, and I suspect the answer to that question is no. try to be good neighbors here in southeast Hillsborough County, and we're disappointed that USF has been working on this project for over a year, and this is the first public meeting. We are also disappointed that our sheriff would volunteer this facility without consulting the facility's neighbors and the people of southeast Hillsborough County. But I've lived here my entire life, and there's one thing that I know: the people of southeast Hillsborough County will answer this disappointment with their votes.
But I am a resident of Lithia. And I can tell you, I support this training facility. How many people here would be opposed if it's their family member that has been killed and is found in the middle of the woods? You would want all law enforcement to step up, find out who did it, how they did it, and convict the person. The only way to do this is through training. We're talking, why are we opposing something that is going to be a benefit to not only law enforcement, but to families? Yes, families who have lost loved ones.
The sheriff ran, they shoved everything down our throat. They don't ask us nothing, they tell us at the last minute, now they get ready to put bodies out there. I don't want to look out my window and see this. I see a plane out there, I hear cars racing out there, I hear sirens going on around. We've never given consulted about nothing goes on. They always laugh and let's do it. They don't consult after. If you ever talk to them, I went every meeting they had about the car race, no, we're not going to have sirens. We're going to shut them down at 9:30, by 9:30 tonight. 12 o'clock at night, it still goes. Now, I'm getting kind of sick and tired of hearing all the stuff they're throwing in on us. The reservoir, the promises so much out of the reservoir. Then when it comes down to it, oh no, they come a big tall king. We ain't going out there. They told everything else, and as far as you don't live right. I live right on top of it. I don't look out my back door and see body marks.
Are you aware, in Paris, 2 centuries ago, they would hang the bodies out so that the smell would drift over the city as a reminder to people not to do bad things. But I can't help but think if that happened in Paris, why can't it happen here in Lithia?
Patriots. I am a USF graduate from the anthropology department, and I completely support this facility. And, you know, we're residents of Lithia as well, and I know that it will not affect as far as the smell, because, you know, I've read about the Body Farm in Tennessee. I read a whole book on it, and it was really fascinating, and it'll just be a great opportunity for the Sheriff's Office and the USF Anthropology Department as well to do research, and I think that it's good, and it won't really affect anything. You'll just forget that it's there after a while.
I think it can be done in a lot of places, but one thing I did before I came out here is I Googled Knoxville, Tennessee Body Farm. And on the very first page, what came up, just a few down, first of all was the university and everything, came up 10 scariest places on earth. That is what came up on the first page. I don't want my homes to be considered in the area of one of the 10 scariest places on earth. So, as much as I think research is wonderful, it needs to be done, like Mr. Fitzpatrick said, it can be done somewhere a little more remote. If remote isn't an issue, then we always have the land up by USF where the students can have access to it. But property values and scariest places on earth, I don't think those two things are very compatible. So, thank you.
I think this is disgusting. Does nobody believe anymore in the value of the dignity of the human body? Dead bodies should be buried. Now, if you donate your body to science, I believe research should be done in an appropriate facility, not left out there for the elements.
And I didn't go to college. I didn't know the smell of something stinks. She took 12 foot fence out. A deer can jump 12 foot. your 6-year-old comes in with a taser, and you're back at it. It's just not.
Cows die out in my back pasture, and I can smell them. Just one cow, I can smell 150 feet away, one cow. How about 300 dead bodies? Not cool. So anyway, I've got my property for sale. It's been for sale for about a month, and I was getting about 12 calls on the weekend. And that's just my owner, sign out front. And since this has been on the news and all over the place, I stopped getting calls. No one's interested. They don't want to live by dead bodies. And I think it's decreasing my property value. And like I said, I'm not getting calls anymore. So that says it all right there. Thank you.
One real estate transaction where someone's lost 25, 30, 40% of what they would have sold their house for, and you multiply by every real estate transaction that occurs in this area. Is the county going to be liable legally for that loss? Those losses, real estate costs. I mean, all these people that are trying to sell a house, whether they just built a house, you built a house 5 months ago, you're 3 miles north, and you cannot tell me that you cannot smell a decomposing, uninvolved human corpse 3 miles away, half a mile away, 10 miles away. You drive by a landfill with your windows rolled up in your car. You smell the rotting garbage in your car, through the vents of your car. And I can tell you from first-hand experience that a rotting human body that has no preservative in it smells way worse than rotting tomatoes or fruit or garbage. It's something you'll never forget, and like another person said, hanging bodies up over the city so the smell washes over the city. That's what it does. And 3 miles away, we're sitting on our porch barbecuing, grilling, we just put a pool in, sitting up there, and grilling a hamburger and smelling some heat for the body. Not when none of this was disclosed prior to our building on that property. It's just a year, this has been going on a year, and one other thing I want to